Hello, friends. There's so much that I want to share with you. When you look at the chart, it looks like nothing is going on, just at a glance. But there has been so much tension and expansion this week. Let's look at the numbers. I want to thank @Schumann bot on Twitter for mentioning me the other day. That was really cool of you guys, and I really appreciate it. The biggest thing on this chart that I see is this, I call it the major choice point. And that's going to be a key part of what I want to talk about today. The rest of the chart looked like settling in after the incredible energies of the 8-8 gateway. There was a C-class solar flare right here, and it's interesting because the chart cleared for hours before that and then resumed again. I've showed you this concept recently, but this chart gave me an opportunity to really display it for you in color. I ramped up the contrast and the exposure on this chart. I just changed the light exposure. But this is what I've talked about here. You can see the bottom here that these are waves that we're looking at. They're flat, two-dimensional versions of waves. The waves go up and down, up, then just like straight up here, then down, spike, down, up, down. There are times when it's very obvious that one part of the chart, the waves are wider or narrower than the other, but that's not the case today. Do you see why I call this a choice point here? It's like it's not even part of the wave energy. It's like it just shoots through the resonances. It's like it just comes into our reality and appears. Cliff High has some great videos on strange energy from space. And I don't know where this is from. Could be from space, could be from our own souls, could be from the divinity within us reaching out to us, could be from the cosmos, but whatever the source of it is, it gives us a opportunity for realigning within and awakening within further than we already have, for connecting, in my view, with the divine deeper, clearer than we already have, for making the conscious choice to upshift our lives. So there's something else I want to show you here. Do you see how the pattern of these waves are so different? It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's almost like white caps. And see how that's so much different than, see how wide this wave is there. And then it's slightly different there. It's a little bit wider here and more rolling. And then here it's just like nothing. It's almost like this is a drop down. And then do you see how right here, the wave starts to rise again and then peaks here. It has this abrupt energy. See how this abrupt energy is so much different than the white choice point lane? Watch this. You see, look, it's just like it's almost like a rip or tear in the fabric of our reality. Now, this is what I actually think it is. This is what it looks like on the regular spectrogram chart. See how this is not the normal pattern? All these dots. Oh, made contact. Surrounding whatever this is with light, with purple, with deep purples. Whoop, right there. Made contact with something surrounding it. Here we go. Made all these contacts surrounding the energies. Oh, look at that. The divine comes in, transmutes. There you go. There was a major choice point. 2 days later, something gets removed from our reality. There's one other thing about these waves, and that is you can see sometimes there's energy that skirts across the top of the wave in this way as well. Here you can see it's almost like it just went through our atmosphere. But here you can see that it's like the wave was low and then it just went immediately high. So what we don't have here is we don't have an understanding of the depth. But I can give you an example. It's like here, the wave was going along, and then suddenly it just went like straight up and then skirted across for a while and then and then went back to a more normal wave pattern. Do you see that? So that's why I said that this chart appears to not have a lot of action to it, but yet it really did. This lack of wave, it almost is like a vacuum, okay? Kind of pulling in our energies. Energy rushes towards the vacuum if it's able to. And I think that's what you see here. So I just wanted to talk about the choice point for a minute. It's an invitation to engage. So we walk in the darkness until we make the choice to ignite the light within ourselves or to open the door to that light, because it's always already there. It's kind of like this flower. The flower with all the petals shines brightly and unfolds in all of its detail when it faces the light. When that happens, all the petals can open, unfold, the flower warms and it makes seeds. When the flowers are turned away from the light, or when they don't have that vitality of connection, perhaps the stem drooped for some reason and they turned away from directly being in the sunlight, what happens? They begin to wilt. Sometimes, if the bud isn't in the light enough, it doesn't even open. Sometimes the flower wilts away and just becomes compost for the next plant. There's no spark of something fresh and new with that flower. But a healthy flower raised up in the sun may smell amazing, bring joy to our lives, and produce the seed for the next generation. The energies on this week's chart were incredibly trying and stressful because that great big wave reached in and touched very, very deeply within us. You can look at the videos I made on this wave called The Divine Prevails in All Things to hear more about that action. Then there was a second wave that kind of brought all that up to the surface, that deepness inside us. Then when we got here, it was very, very choppy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peaks all in a row. You don't see a lot. This is all happening internally. There's this density, this tightening, this stress and anxiety after all this choppiness because we've passed this major choice point. So now we're deciding internally what to do, whether that's conscious or unconscious. You get all this lighting up at the subconscious. It's all lit up in our waking consciousness now. We see something and now we have to decide what to do with it, but we may not have the skill set. A vacuum happens and then a solar flare pings us, pokes into the energy field and invites us to release, to have a final release over whatever has caused the anxiety, over whatever has caused the fear, because all of this is bubbling up, most likely from our past, where current situations, current information is triggering that. And it's all bubbling to the surface for a release. What there is to rely on is the divinity that we are a living part of, that is alive within us. We don't know what the future is going to hold. But if we rely on our inner connection, if we can learn to feel it, to know it, to see it, to experience it in whatever way that is for you, if we can learn to rely on it, to check in moment to moment, we create a future, even though we don't now know the details of what that might be. We create a future of life that enhances life and that promulgates the future generations of humanity. This, my friends, is the human resonance. It's about the pulse of God the Most High, the creator of the universe, the source of all that is, the light that courses through our energy bodies, the life force that animates us, flowing out through us moment to moment. The realizing of this connection is our saving grace in these tough times. The reason that we don't know what the future is because it's unfolding in perfection, in alignment with the divinity within us. Whatever it is that's bothering you, that's causing the anxiety, give it to God and then live your good life. Act on your love. Be alive in the moment and create in the way that God inspires you.